Hi everyone, this is Mike with Elara Healthcare. I wanted to take 3 to 4 minutes to talk about our initial assessments. We do have multiple clinical forms in our system, including visit notes, actively dying assessments for the patient being in the last hours of life. We have a narrative visit note where you can key everything in. But I wanted to focus today on the initial or comprehensive assessment. And this is really used when you're talking about pre-admission, where you need to have your disciplines go out and do the initial assessment, or anytime you really need to do a full body assessment. This has a lot of tabs that you can complete, and I'll show you that in a second. So right here, I'm looking at all the different visits in my system. You can print out a visit. You can also copy a previous visit note. So some handy-dandy features in our system, right? If I go over to my sample visit note, I can show you here. First, we have a summary tab which contains your visit date, your time in and time out, as well as in one last required field, which is the visit event type, right? So whereas most of these are going to be face-to-face visits, you're also going to have supervisory visits. You may have discharge visits to do the pronounce. Those are also going to have this SIA payments in. You can also record your social worker phone calls here, any text messages, really any kind of event with the family or patient you can record in the system. Okay, I've got my direct time in and time out. I also have a spot for your optional indirect time, right? And then from the rest of the tab, I've got informational fields, right? So I can list the summary of the visit. This could be short, this could be long, this is really up to you. I've got infection and treatment, caregiver communication, any fall events. In addition, we do have a full fall risk assessment tab. So if I was to move on from the summary tab, I'm logged in as an RN right now, so I wanted to show you the neuro tab as an example. If I hover over these different tabs, most of the time, you're going to see them grayed out depending on your role. So for body, GI, and neuro, these are typically RN fields or RN tabs. So if I was a social worker logging in, trying to go to neuro, I could certainly look at someone else's neuro visit, but I'm not going to be able to fill one out because that's not really the job of a social worker or a spiritual care counselor, and vice versa. If I was on spiritual care and I'm a spiritual care counselor, I'm going to see that tab as active and editable, but if I'm an RN, I'm not going to be filling out my bereavement counselor's tabs, so they would be grayed out, okay? So as I'm an RN right now, I'm on the neurology tab. You can see here, as I go down, I've got different tab sections, so activity, I've got assistance, I've got communication, and you can see a pattern here where we tried to put as many checkboxes as we could, right? So if you need to say more about the glasses, you have a comments box down here for glasses, right? So what we've done is left a spot for every provider to put in their own processes, and you could certainly check these off, or you could use that narrative note where I told you before. And then the communication section is going to be limited to a title and a comments box on the narrative note. So that's the main difference between the two types of visit notes. You've got check boxes and text boxes versus the narrative. But I did pass over these red fields here, and I just wanted to explain what these are before we end the video. So this particular patient has a primary diagnosis of heart failure. So if you know your LCDs or local coverage determinators, you'll notice that when you have a patient on heart failure, there's certain things that need to be filled out for the diagnosis to certainly be terminal. And that is right here, a couple of these. There has to be 2 ADLs. There has to be a Karnofsky under 70. I think the NYHA scale is 2 or greater. But basically what we've done is, based on the diagnosis, we've prompted you to complete the LCDs on the initial assessment. Okay, so this is a really big compliance piece that keeps you in compliance with those terminal diagnoses. And when it comes to an audit, you're going to have the information to back it up, right? As far as we know, no one else has this information. We actually have a patent on this information. And that's all for our video today. If you have any further questions or any questions to reach me at, you can get me at mmessagie@elaraemr.com. That's MMESSAGIE. You can also reach us through our contact form on our website. And that's it for today. Have a good day.